All right, so let's start with today's session. Uh, Hello and good afternoon to everyone. Hello and welcome to Unacademy. My name is Aditi Bhatt and I'll be taking your session on daily legal current affairs, wherein I will be analyzing the Hindu newspaper for today, that is 27th May. Okay, so now, yes, so before we proceed further, this is the link for my Telegram channel. So you can join my Telegram channel for regular updates related to classes. So I'm sharing the YouTube links for my YouTube sessions, right? There on the Telegram channel, and I'm also sharing the PDF of the Hindu newspaper for students who do not have subscription to the Hindu newspaper, so that they can also read and refer to it and relate to what I'm talking about in the sessions. Also, I will be sharing once the month of May is over. I will be sharing a draft that which I'm preparing on the important concepts, the legal reasoning, current affairs, which is going to be important from your CLAT perspective. So I'm compiling all the important ones from the sessions that I have conducted so far, right? And I will be sharing it on in the month of April. Sorry, in the month of June, the next subsequent month. Okay, yes. So you can join my Telegram channel using the link here, or you can even scan the barcode to join the channel. And if you're planning to take any of the subscriptions provided on the Unacademy platform, then to unlock free classes and subscription discount, you can use the referral code ABCLAT. All right. Okay, so these are the highlights for today. So today we had a lot of things in the newspaper. So yes, today's session is going to be a slightly longer session. So please bear with me. All right. So first news item is Census 2021. Only 6 religion options make it to next census form. So we will be looking at what the news item talks about and the Census 2021 as well. And the Supreme Court refuses to hear plea against opening of Parliament by Prime Minister. Again, this issue is related to public interest litigation and the plea which has been filed challenging the opening ceremony of the new Parliament building. The third is second case of suicide in Tihar prison. So this is there are certain IPC provisions mentioned in this particular news item. So we will be looking into that. And this suicide has been committed by an under trial prisoner. So we look into who are under trial prisoners, okay, and what is the situation of under trial prisoners in India. Okay, so you just so that you can get conceptual clarity on what are under trial prisoners and what are convicts. All right. Acha, then the fourth is terror funding case. NIA seeks death penalty for Yasin Malik. So this is we will be talking about terror financing, NIA and UAPA. Sedition and its roots in rudeness as an offense. So this is a news opinion article wherein so we will be addressing sedition law in India. Okay, you can also give the news articles a read. But for what you need to understand is that those opinion based articles are just an opinion of the people, but you need to know the law, right? What the law is and what are the technical loopholes in the legislation, and what are the reforms that have been proposed. Okay, a fountainhead of the people's hopes and aspirations. Now, this is related to you can say the 75th year of independence, and now so many reforms have been proposed, and so many reforms have been even executed. And it talks about preamble, and so we will look into the news item and what all it talks about. Then the seventh is Sengal. Congress kept a sacred symbol as walking stick. Souvenirs show scepter was given to Mountbatten. So again, the Sengal, we will look into it. And Delhi court allows Rahul Gandhi's plea for NOC for passport. So we'll here in this article it has mentioned ordinary passport and the diplomatic passport and the special passport. So we will look into the different types of passport. Being an Indian citizen, you must know what are the different types of passports that are there in India and what are the new ones that have been proposed by the Indian government and which will be streamlined soon. And the fourth and another thing that we will be talking about in this particular news item is about dual citizenship. Okay. Acha. Then the ninth is European Union official seeks to allay India's concern on carbon tax. This is something that we have been dealing with in the past few sessions, right? Carbon tax, which is being levied by the Union on countries. This is the carbon tax on non-green technologies or non-green products. Okay, so we will be talking about the COP, that is Conference of Parties. Okay, and Indus Water Treaty is the next news item. So yes, we will be looking at Indus Water Treaty. Center advises Jammu and Kashmir to scale up efforts for better utilization. 11th is Navy ISRO release training plan for Gaganyaan crew. So this is the first time, and it's really, makes me really happy to say that yes, India is also sending its astronauts up in the space. So it is something very exciting news for all the citizens. So now the astronauts, the training for the Indian crew or the Gaganyaan crew will start for the Gaganyaan mission, and the training will be conducted by Navy and ISRO both combined. So we will again look into this particular news item. Then the 12th news item is Union Food Ministry says fortified rice is safe. This is the report which was published by Niti Aayog, and it also has FSSAI. So we will look into both these organizations and understand what these organizations are. New Justices appointed to Madras Bombay High Courts. Again, we look into the judicial appointments in High Court and what is the process and everything. And the 14th is Darjeeling to join the list of most polluted cities of West Bengal, reveals study. So here also we will look into the air pollution and what are the different government initiatives that the central government has taken to curb air pollution. All right. Then 15th is there can be no laxity with the quality of medicine. See, a lot of reforms have been proposed in the pharmaceutical industry, since India is the biggest pharmaceutical industry. Therefore, there were a lot of, and India is the biggest manufacturer of pharmaceutical products, right? India is the biggest pharmaceutical sector in the entire world, and the market share of India's pharma products are the biggest in the world. India also shares even the export, as far as the export is also concerned. So India's share is great. That's why the pharma sector, there are several reforms that have been proposed to reform the pharma sector. Okay. All right, so before we proceed further, these are the CLAT printed notes, CLAT printed mock tests, sorry. These will be provided to you, provided right at your doorstep. And these are available, 10 sectional mocks and 10 full length mocks. All of these will be provided, and they are available with all iconic in 9 months and above plus subscriptions. So you can subscribe, right? You can subscribe using the referral code ABCLAT. And the best part is, see, these tests are all India mock test for the month of May have been announced, and these are the tests which are actually going on. And soon the calendar for the month of June will also be announced, right? So once the June calendar is out, I will share it with all of you. So this is the calendar. Today, 27th May, this All India LSAT was conducted. Right, so these are all India free mock tests which are being conducted by Unacademy. So if you ace good marks in these mock tests, you can avail up to 90% scholarship on your subscription amount, okay, by using the referral code ABCLAT. So this is a very, these the Unacademy keeps on conducting these mock tests so that students can get a chance, and brighter students can get a chance at getting better subscription deals. All right. So, and you can also join, for students who are in class 11th and who have certain time with them, right, who are preparing for CLAT, they can join the level up batch. And right, and students who are in class 12th or who have already enrolled in college for some course, they can join the warrior batch since they are preparing alongside with their other board subjects, right? And this CUET PG Law DULLB course, crash course, has also been announced, since the dates are out already. And your even the CLAT 2024 dates are out, which is on December 3rd, if I'm not wrong. Okay, so yes, you can join all of these batches. This is the crash course for the DULLB and CUET entrance examinations, right? The batch is starting, this crash course batch is starting today itself. but you can enroll now, right, for if you are aiming to crack any of these examinations. All right, so let's start with the session today. Only 6 religion options make it to next census form. Detailed codes for Sarnaism, the Lingayat religion, etc. were dropped in the final schedule form to include questions on source of drinking water. So, this, first of all, Census 2021 has not been released so far. By the Census 2021 has not been released so far, right, by the Indian government. That is because due to pandemic, the census 20 the pandemic during the pandemic, actually the census exercise was supposed to be conducted in 2020. Half of the census information was already taken in 2019, but the other half which was remaining, that had to be conducted in 2020, which was due to pandemic, it was basically stopped. And this is why we do not have census 2021 yet, right? But we are hoping that soon it will be released, most probably by the end of 2023 this year. So this census 2021 is going to be India's first digital census, and this is going to be the 16th national census of the country. 16th national census of the country. Sorry for the disturbances in the background. All right, so the earliest, so as we had already discussed the census related points in the previous sessions, you see, the exercise of census is not a new exercise. Taking census or taking a record of, or accounting your demographic of a particular region or a country is an exercise which has been recorded in, even in the Rig Veda, right? So it is a very old exercise which even the different in the olden times, even different kingdoms used to conduct, which is because different, even they had to prepare policies, and maybe they had to make decisions based on those particular, that data. Anyway, so this is a very old exercise, and the first census that was conducted was in 1872. This was the time when the first census was conducted, and this was in the during the uh, tenure of Governor General Lord Mayo. Governor General Lord Mayo. These are just some GK based information that I am giving you out, right? And okay, and the Census Act was in. We have a Census Act of 1948. Census Act. This was in. This was enacted in 1948. All right. This provided for a permanent scheme for conducting population census with duties and responsibilities of census officers. The individual data collected in census under the Act are not made public. So we also have, we in one of our previous sessions, we had talked about the National Register of Citizens, right? NRC, National Register of Citizens, right? So once the people will update their data on NRC, they will be automatically, so this 2021 census is going to be the first digital census. That means there's going to be a platform, right, provided by the Indian government, and on that platform people will be able to update their data and information, and that data will also be kept secret, so it will not be public, right? It will be kept secret. But yes, the people will be able to register and give out their details on that particular platform, so that better by from home itself. And it will also be connected, this particular platform will also be connected with the state's website, states you see a website when it comes to their municipalities, data related to birth and death certificate, birth and death. Okay, so all of that will be recorded, and even the states are now planning to digitize, and they are, in fact, several states are already in the process of digitizing their data related to birth and death, right? So once everything is sorted out, like digitized, everything will be sorted out, and it will bring about, it will ease out the entire process, right? And so this particular news item states that only 6 religions have been provided for the census 2021. 6 religions they are going on with. तो आप नए सेंसस में जब आप देखोगे देर आर सम न्यू इन्फॉर्मेशन, जैसे कि जेंडर में पहले सिर्फ मेल एंड फीमेल का होता था, इस टाइम पे मेल, फीमेल एंड थर्ड जेंडर, ये वाला ऑप्शन भी रहेगा, थर्ड जेंडर, ठीक है, और इवन और ट्रांसजेंडर. सो दिस ऑप्शन विल आल्सो बी इंक्लूडेड इन द डेटाबेस. तो अभी तक क्या था कि 2011 का जो सेंसस हुआ था उसमें ट्रांसजेंडर का डेटाबेस इंक्लूड नहीं हुआ था. अब इस वाले सेंसस में इंक्लूड होगा. इसमें 6 रिलीजन्स ही इंक्लूड करे जा रहे हैं, विच इज हिंदूज, सिख्स, जैन्स, बुद्धिस्ट, राइट, क्रिश्चियंस एंड मुस्लिम्स. ओके, सो ये 6 रिलीजन्स को इंक्लूड किया जा रहा है इस बार के सेंसस में. बट प्रपोज्ड क्या था, एक रिलीजन है सारनेइज्म. ये एक रिलीजन है, जैसे कि जो ट्राइबल कम्युनिटीज हैं स्पेशली झारखंड में, तो वहां पे झारखंड में इनफैक्ट एक लॉ भी है रिलेटेड टू दिस. तो वहां पे जो वहां की जो ट्राइबल कम्युनिटीज हैं दे आर नेचर वर्शिपर्स, तो उनके लिए उनको हिंदूज में कंसिडर नहीं करते हैं, बट दे आर कंसिडर्ड एज सारनेइज्ड. ओके, सारना जो उनका रिलीजन है, सारना, ठीक है. तो दिस इज अ न्यू रिलीजन, सारनेज्म, एंड दिस वाज आल्सो प्रपोज्ड बट इसको ऐड नहीं किया गया. उसके अलावा लिंगायत भी एक रिलीजन है, ठीक है, उनको भी ऐड नहीं किया. लिंगायत रिलीजन को भी दिस वर नॉट एडेड इन द फाइनल, दिस वर ड्रॉप्ड इन द फाइनल शेड्यूल. ओके, और भी क्या क्या इंफॉर्मेशन जो कि ऐड होंगी इस बार. अच्छा, ये सब, सी, डू यू कंज्यूम पैकेज्ड और बॉटल्ड वाटर, दिस विल आल्सो बी एडेड, कि जस्ट टू ट्रैक कि who all are drinking what kind of water source, ठीक है. तो packaged water or bottled water, the census wants to know. This will be one of the new questions in the next census, which will also introduce natural calamities as a new option when asking about factors responsible for migration. तो क्या होता है ना, because natural calamities की वजह से internal displacement बहुत होता है. internal displacement, तो internal displacement एक बहुत ही it's a very problematic and it's a very realistic phenomenon, ठीक है. internal displacement ज्यादातर केसेस में इट इज क्लाइमेट इंड्यूस्ड. क्या हो रहा है कि क्लाइमेट चेंज की वजह से कई जगह का सी लेवल बढ़ रहा है, ठीक है. क्लाइमेट चेंज की वजह से कई जगह के बिकॉज ऑफ एल नीना जैसे जो फिनोमिनन्स हैं, उनकी वजह से क्या हो रहा है कि जहाँ पे बारिश होती थी वहां पे अब सूखा पड़ रहा है, और जहाँ पे जहाँ पे सूखा पड़ता था वहां पे कुछ ज्यादा ही बारिश हो रही है या इवन बर्फ गिर रही है. तो दिस हैज बेसिकली changed the climate pattern, changed the weather pattern rather, ठीक है. And because the pressure belts have been affected, जो global pressure belts होती हैं वो affect हुई हैं. high pressure areas पे अब low pressure हो रहा है, low pressure areas high pressure low pressure कैसे determine होता है, because temperature change हो गया है regions का, ठीक है. जहाँ पे गर्मी होती थी वहाँ पे ठंड हो रही है, तो क्योंकि temperature होता है, temperature determines which kind of pressure will be there, ठीक है. जनरली जो हाई प्रेशर रीजन्स होते हैं वो कोल्ड होते हैं, एंड लो प्रेशर एरिया दैट दे आर वार्मर एरियाज, राइट. तो ठीक है, ये सब रीजंस की वजह से, फैक्टर्स की वजह से बहुत जगह प्रॉब्लम्स हो रही हैं. क्लाइमेट इंड्यूस्ड इंटरनल डिस्प्लेसमेंट हो रहा है. एंड इंडिया की इतनी डाइवर्स, you can say India has a very diverse climate, you can entire this thing scene, you'll find everything that's on our planet something very similar to everything on our planet to India. So because India mein you'll see diverse climatic regions everywhere, right. That's why India is also very vulnerable when it comes to climate induced internal displacement. So this will also be added in the next census, right. Despite demands from several communities to be counted as separate religion, the next census will only count these 6 religions. Nature worshipping Adivasis in Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh and Odisha have been campaigning to include their Sarna faith as a separate religion, while Karnataka's Lingayats have been making similar demand. Though respondents can write the name of any other religion, no separate code will be provided. Okay, making it count. So next census retains 6 options for religion. The census introduces questions on bottled water consumption and migration due to natural calamities. Next census will be India's first digital one, allowing citizens to participate from comfort of their home. Okay? Right? The new queries about travel time, metro rail usage have been added, which is very good. Census now includes categories such as acid attack, intellectual disability, chronic neurological disease, blood disorder and disability section. A code directly is added to streamlining the data processing. Okay, and the next, this is also related to this particular issue. Census officials had in fact designed detailed codes for religion on the basis of data collected during Census 2011. However, they were dropped and only 6 religions were retained, right? The details are explained in the report titled The Treaties on Indian Censuses since 1981, which was released by Home Minister Amit Shah on May 22nd. So, this is the report. The name of the report is The Treaties or Treatise, however you want to pronounce it, on Indian censuses. ठीक है, रिमेंबर सेंसस अभी पहली बार तो हो नहीं रहा है. सेंसस इज इनफैक्ट 1872 से कंडक्ट किए जा रहे हैं इंडिया में, राइट? 1981 में दिस एक्सरसाइज स्टार्टेड. सो सिंस 1981, right? And this was released on May 22nd. This is the report. Digital census. So this is going to be the first ever digital census. The next census is also said to be the first digital census, where respondents will have the option to fill in the questionnaire from the comfort of their own home. The 31 questions for the first phase, house listing, housing schedule, were notified on January 2020. As many as 28 questions have been finalized for the second phase, the population enumeration, but are yet to be notified. The final set of questions for both phases were asked during pre-test exercise in 2019 and 76 districts and 36 states and union territories, covering a population of more than 26 lakh. ठीक है, जो 2019 में जो एक्सरसाइज हुई थी उसमें सिर्फ 26 लाख ही लोगों का सेंसस रिकॉर्ड कर पाए. ठीक है. A comparison of the questions asked in 2011 and those finalized for the next census shows that for a section on the mode of travel to place of work, मोड ऑफ ट्रैवल, प्लेस ऑफ वर्क, ठीक है, ये सारी कुछ नई नई इंफॉर्मेशन है जो कि सेंसस में रिकॉर्ड की जाएंगी. रिस्पोंडेंट्स विल हैव टू आंसर न्यू क्वेरीज ऑन देयर ट्रैवल टाइम इन आवर्स, राइट? ट्रैवल टाइम in hours and minutes, and whether they use metro rail, क्या public transportation use हो रहा है. It's very good and very important. Question on types and clauses of disabilities has been expanded to include acid attack, intellectual disability, chronic neurological disease, and blood disorder. Okay, the next census will also record details on whether the person who lives in a rented house, कौन rented घरों में रहते हैं, because इंडिया में क्या है सिस्टम कि इंडिया में लोग, it's movement is free, right? It's a fundamental right. Freedom of movement is a fundamental right under Article 19. So people generally go in different places in India for studying or for job employment, right? That's why they stay in rented places. So rented house owns a, how many people have rented house, and how many people own a house somewhere else or does not own any residential property. So this data will also be recorded. On the question of availability of drinking water, whether the people have drinking water, because availability of drinking water, safe clean drinking water, is a fundamental right under Article 21 of the Constitution of India. All right, so it explains that near the premises means within 100 meters in urban areas, and near premises means within 500 meters in rural areas. ठीक है. So ये सारी चीजें. Directory to reduce bias. For the first time, the code directory containing possible responses and their matching codes for questions involving descriptive non-numeric entries have been prepared for the use of enumerators during the second phase of Census 2021. It has codes in respect of relationship to head, mother tongue, other languages known, right? Occupation, nature of industry, trade or service, birthplace, place of last residence, scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, right? Then data processing of these descriptive responses required human intervention to codify into required data format. As per the tabulation plan, it also involved risk to data bias and errors because of diverse judgment of enumerators and the persons codifying the response as well. Okay, so there are a lot of things that are proposed. I will also be adding the new informations that are being required in census 2021. I'll be adding it in the draft that I'm preparing so that it can be useful for you to refer, right? Okay, and they will also be providing us a census monitoring and management system. Center monitoring and management portal will also be provided. Okay, with a multi-language support, and it will be a single source where for all officers and officials involved in census activities to provide multi-language support. Okay, Acha. Then we'll go on to the next article. The next news item talks about the plea that has been filed in the Supreme Court challenging the opening ceremony of the new Parliament building. Right, so a public interest litigation has been filed under Article 32 of the Constitution of India, challenging the opening ceremony of the new Parliament building, citing Article 71 of the Constitution of India. See, you can read it here. Right, it's given here, Article 79 of the inaugural. So it was asked, the lawyer actually referred to Article 79 of the Constitution, which stated that there shall be a parliament for the union which will consist of the president and two houses to be called respectively, the Council of States Rajya Sabha and the House of People Lok Sabha, right? And so it was stated that a president is the head of the parliament, prime minister is only the head of the executive government. So it is for the president to inaugurate. This was being plead in the Supreme Court, but the judge the court stated that it could not intervene in the issue on the basis of petition filed under Article 32 of the Constitution. Yesterday we stated yesterday when we were taking the session, if you remember, uh, I have also referred to certain judgments wherein the Supreme Court has clearly stated that the court cannot intervene in policy matters, right? Policy matters are the exclusive domain of the executive. Similarly, the executive cannot intervene in the judicial matters. So, we referred to Article 50 of the Constitution. Sorry, Article 50. I'll just write it clearly here. Article 50 of the Constitution of India talks about separation of judiciary from the executive. Okay? This is what the Article 50 of Constitution of India talks about, and this is the directive principle of state policy, DPSP. It's in part 4 of the Constitution. इसका मतलब क्या है इस आर्टिकल का कि Constitution, the states are going to strive, states in the sense, the organs of the state are going to strive to separate judiciary from the executive. That is, the courts or the judiciary cannot encroach upon the matters which are executive in nature. Similarly, the executive cannot encroach upon the matters which are judicial in nature. जिसमें कि the powers and function, it talks about separation of separation का मतलब है separation of both powers and functions. ठीक है, both powers and functions, separation of both powers and functions. That is, the judiciary cannot function like an executive. The judiciary is not entitled to make policy decisions. Policy decisions वो लोग बनाएंगे जो elected representatives हैं. ठीक है, जो सरकार चुन के आई है, जनता ने जिनको वोट किया है, they are responsible for making policy decisions. They are the executives. Judiciary cannot make policy decisions on behalf of the executive. Similarly, the executive cannot pass any decision which is, or again cannot exercise judicially. वो अपनी एग्जीक्यूटिव भी अपनी पावर्स को जुडिशियली एक्सरसाइज नहीं कर सकता है. एग्जीक्यूटिव का काम क्या है? लॉज को इम्प्लीमेंट करना, एग्जीक्यूट करना, सिंपल, right? And judiciary's work is to whatever the laws are, or what to basically review the actions by both legislature as well as the executive, except policy matters. So policy matters को encroach नहीं कर सकता है. All right, so इसमें यहाँ पे जो public interest litigation file किया गया है, now many people are even saying that this is a misuse of public interest litigation. See, the public interest litigation, in the whole idea of public interest litigation was कि जो लोग हैं, जो किसी ना किसी certain issue जिसके ऊपर let's say कोई law available नहीं है, या कोई ऐसा issue जिसमें कि सब कुछ भी ऐसा हो सकता है जिसमें कि गवर्नमेंट ने ध्यान नहीं दिया हो, ठीक है, तो उन particular issues को अगर if that particular issue is affecting the citizens at large, then a PIL or a public interest litigation can be filed, which is a litigation in the interest of the public, can be filed in the court, can be filed directly in the Supreme Court as well, citing that particular issue, or asking the court of, or asking the judiciary or the court of law to take cognizance of the issue, to take suo motu cognizance of the issue. ठीक है, तो PIL का whole purpose is, the whole purpose of public interest litigation is it's a litigation which acts in the interest of the public. Supreme Court में directly case file हो सकता है, case can be filed in the Supreme Court directly, ठीक है. In fact, PIL के अगर हम starting के कुछ examples देखें तो Supreme Court का एक epistolary jurisdiction भी है. Supreme Court में Supreme Court ने एक बार in one of the instances, and I'm sure there are some few others, epistolary jurisdiction होता है एक Supreme Court का, ठीक है. This is not mentioned in the Constitution, but Supreme Court ने एक बार epistolary jurisdiction exercise किया था, यानी कि एक PIL फाइल हुई थी in the form of a letter. एक letter गया था Supreme Court को, Supreme Court के judges को, and in that letter the issue related to the environment, or there was a certain issue which was concerning the public at large, it was mentioned in that particular letter, and on the basis of that letter was considered as an affidavit by the Supreme Court, right? And this was तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट की जो पावर है कि अगर आप कोई लेटर भी आता है, या अगर कोई एक नॉर्मल रिपोर्ट भी अगर कोई सबमिट करता है, then सुप्रीम कोर्ट कैन एक्सरसाइज इट्स एपिस्टलरी जुरिसडिक्शन एंड कैन टेक suo motu cognizance, और उस पर्टिकुलर पेपर, उस पर्टिकुलर डॉक्यूमेंट को सुप्रीम कोर्ट एक एफिडेविट की तरह कंसिडर कर सकता है, ठीक है. दिस इज सुप्रीम कोर्ट्स एपिस्टलरी जुरिसडिक्शन, जस्ट फॉर योर इंफॉर्मेशन. एंड so the whole idea was public interest litigation was to enhance or to promote litigations in the interest of public. कोई जो ऐसे issues हैं जो कि limelight में नहीं है, उनको limelight में लाना, ताकि जो लोग हैं, affected parties हैं, उनको justice मिल सके, access to justice, ठीक है. the whole idea was access to justice, कि उसमें क्या है कि PIL में locus standi की जरूरत नहीं है. PIL का जो कॉन्सेप्ट है उसमें लोकस स्टैंडर्ड, यानी कि आप अगर PIL फाइल कर रहे हो, ठीक है, आपको कोई इशू लगता है, जैसे आपकी लोकेलिटी में प्रॉपर वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट नहीं है एंड उसका कोई लॉ भी नहीं है, जस्ट फॉर हाइपोथेटिकल सिचुएशन, देन यू कैन फाइल अ PIL for that particular for people in that area in the high court, or in the nearby, basically in the high court, right, in the state court. So seeking justice, right, seeking well planned everything. So उसमें कोर्ट आपसे ये नहीं पूछेगा कि आपने क्यों फाइल करी है, whether you are affected or not, that is irrelevant. So locus standi होना जरूरी नहीं है for PIL. In fact PIL के लिए आपको lawyer hire करने की भी जरूरत नहीं है. Normal citizen, be whether that person has a law degree or not, is not relevant for filing a PIL and for arguing the case in the public interest litigation. Any citizen can file a PIL and can argue the case. So uh, this is a tool for providing better access to justice to citizens, right? And तो ये आइडिया इसी आइडिया से अराउंड लेट 1970s में 1980s में ये पीआईएल का कॉन्सेप्ट शुरू किया था, ठीक है, द होल आइडिया. एंड बट एंड इवन 90s एक बहुत एक फेमस एग्जांपल है विशाखा जजमेंट. विशाखा जजमेंट वाज रिजल्ट ऑफ द पीआईएल व्हिच वाज पीआईएल जो कि फाइल करी गई थी इन केसेस ऑफ सेक्सुअल हैरेसमेंट एट वर्क प्लेस. सेक्सुअल हैरेसमेंट एट वर्क प्लेस. क्योंकि उस टाइम पे कोई भी लॉ नहीं था कंसर्निंग दिस पर्टिकुलर इशू. इस इशू पे कोई लॉ नहीं था. तो ये 1997 का जजमेंट था. 1997 का जजमेंट था सुप्रीम कोर्ट का, ठीक है. तो उसमें बहुत ब्यूटीफुल दिस इन दिस पर्टिकुलर जजमेंट द concept of or the tool of public interest litigation was used very creatively and very beautifully because there was an absence of law, there was an absence of parliament made law, therefore judge made law was given into picture, ठीक है, was brought forth. एंड उसमें जजमेंट में ये भी बोला था सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कि जब तक पार्लियामेंट लॉ इस पे नहीं बनाता है इस पर्टिकुलर इशू पे, तब तक ये जो जजमेंट लॉ है यानी कि जो गाइडलाइंस दी थी सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने वो फॉलो की जाएंगी, राइट, ठीक है. तो दिस वाज वेरी गुड एग्जांपल. बट अभी क्या हो रहा है ना, इनफैक्ट 2000s में क्या हुआ कि जो पीआईएल टूल था उसका बहुत मिसयूज होना शुरू हो गया, ठीक है. नाउ यू विल हियर द केसेस लाइक पब्लिसिटी इंटरेस्ट लिटिगेशन. सो मेनी पीपल फाइल पीआईएल जस्ट टू गेन पब्लिसिटी. यू विल सी पैसा इंटरेस्ट लिटिगेशन, राइट. यू विल सी लॉट ऑफ फ्रॉड केसेस हैपनिंग इन द नेम ऑफ पीआईएल, right? And political interest litigation, so even political activities. तो अब क्या हो रहा है, lot of misuse is happening when it comes to PIL. तो अब ये अगर opening ceremony की अगर हम बात करें, opening ceremony with respect to the new parliament building, so इसमें PIL का use कहाँ आ रहा है, I don't see anyway. So that's why there are people who are saying that it has been a misuse of PIL. And again, Article 32 को क्यों invoke किया गया? Article 32 provides constitutional remedy, right? Article 32 Dr. B.R. Ambedkar ने Article 32 के लिए बोला है that it is the heart and soul of the Indian Constitution. Heart and soul of the Indian Constitution. This has been said by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, right? Why is it the heart and soul of Indian Constitution? और अगर Article 32 का हटा दिया जाए अगर Constitution से, then Constitution will just become a paper. It will have no life. Constitution will become lifeless because Article 32 provides constitutional remedies. आपके पास अगर rights हो but आपके पास remedies ही ना हो तो उसका कोई right होने का कोई फायदा है क्या? नहीं है. Similarly, so a right has to have a remedy. If there is a right, there is a remedy. This is the saying, right? So constitutional remedy provide करता है Article 32. But constitutional remedy against violation of fundamental rights. अगर fundamental rights violate हुए हैं उस केस में Article 32 को invoke किया जाता है, ठीक है, for providing constitutional remedy. Constitutional remedy against the violation of Part 3 of the Constitution. Because fundamental rights are in Part 3. तो अब यहाँ पे ये बात आ रही है कि इसको क्यों invoke किया गया Article 32 को when there was no violation of fundamental right, right? Now they have cited Article 79. Article 79 talks about Constitution of Parliament, that there shall be a Parliament with the President and Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and that President is the head of the state, right? And but the Prime Minister is the executive government. So this has been stated under Article 79. But again, the Supreme Court in this particular plea, which was being heard in the Supreme Court, stated that they could not intervene in the issue on the basis of petition filed under Article 32 of the Constitution. Okay, so I hope this is clear to all of you. All right, so we'll move on to another case now. Acha, this is second case of suicide in Tihar prison. So इस पर्टिकुलर आर्टिकल में कुछ प्रोविजंस की बात करी गई है talks about section 509 of IPC, which is insulting the modesty of a woman, and section 398 of IPC, which is attempt to commit robbery. Okay, so 509 क्या बोलते हैं? It says कुछ ingredients हैं. So how can a person insult the modesty of a woman? So insulting modesty of a woman will be counted by if the insult is given by words or by gestures or any act which is done with the intention of insulting the modesty of women. The acts that can be considered to be within the ambit of this section also include sounds, gestures, or exhibition of any object which is done with the intention to be heard or seen and which intrudes upon the privacy of a woman. Any person committing this crime is prescribed to be punished with simple imprisonment for a term which may extend to 3 years or with fine. ठीक है, तो simple imprisonment 3 years with or without fine, right? And until 2013 maximum punishment for the crime was simple imprisonment for which may extend to 1 year. तो क्या हो गया, criminal law amendment act जो आया, right? Criminal law amendment act in 2013. So जो हमारे अभी लेटेस्ट क्रिमिनल लॉ अमेंडमेंट एक्ट्स हैं, एक 2013 का, एक 2018 का है, ठीक है? These are the last two criminal law amendment acts. And so in 2013 this was the criminal laws were reformed by Justice Verma committee report. Justice Verma committee report. Okay, I will be adding the details in the notes. All right, so any person committing the, okay, so we have already done that. Now after the criminal law amendment act of 2013 was passed, the imprisonment was made mandatory and with a fine. So abhi right now we have 3 years with fine, and the maximum term of imprisonment can be increased. So based on the facts of the case, the quantum of punishment can be decided by the court of law. All right. Now, coming on to section 398, attempt to commit robbery. So, attempt to commit robbery or dacoity when armed with deadly weapons. This is when armed with deadly weapons. If at the time of attempting to commit robbery or dacoity, the offender is armed with any deadly weapon, the imprisonment with which such offender shall be punished shall not be less than 7 years. So, imprisonment इसमें है 7 years. Right? And this is rigorous imprisonment. It is rigorous imprisonment. ठीक है? In the comment section, you can give me the difference between rigorous and simple imprisonment. So you can write down what is the difference between rigorous imprisonment and simple imprisonment, and what is the difference between dacoity and robbery. Okay, I want that in the comment section. Okay. And so these are cognizable, non-bailable offenses, and they are also not compoundable. Okay, so triable by the sessions court. Acha, now we'll look into who are under trial prisoners. Who are under trial prisoners? An under trial is a person who is currently on trial. Someone who is currently on trial. Or who is imprisoned or on remand. Or imprisoned whilst awaiting trial, or a person who is on trial in a court of law. So we have, so एक basic understanding ये है. देखो जब क्या होता है, when the case is filed against a person, ठीक है, when a person is alleged to be an accused, he is alleged that the person is accused, ठीक है, in a particular case, उस टाइम पे उस पर्सन का ट्रायल चलता है, ठीक है, ट्रायल इज ऑनगोइंग. जनरली क्या होता है ना इंडिया में, ऑन एन एवरेज the cases they take around 10 to 11 years on an average. This is a report which was latest by the NCRB report, NCRB data. ठीक है, तो on an average it takes about 10 to 11 years for any case to be completely adjudicated. तो उसकी वजह से क्या होता है, बहुत सारे लोग जो कि फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर पर्सन अक्यूज्ड है, यू केस का जब कंप्लीटली ट्रायल होगा, ट्रायल होने के बाद ही पता चलेगा ना whether that person will be acquitted और whether that person will be convicted. ठीक है, तो जब केस होता है उसके दो ही पहलू होते हैं, या तो पर्सन एक्विट हो जाता है कि हाँ वो बेगुनाह है, उसकी कोई गलती नहीं है, सो दैट पर्सन विल बी एक्विटेड, दैट पर्सन विल गेट complete this thing, he will be acquitted. Or if that person is actually guilty, then that person will be convicted. और ये किस बेसिस पे डिसाइड करती है कोर्ट, ये ट्रायल के बेसिस पे डिसाइड होता है, राइट? तो जब तक ट्रायल नहीं होता या जब तक ट्रायल चल रहा है, एविडेंसेस मिल रहे हैं या जो भी चीजें हैं, व्हाट देयर कैन बी सेवरल फैक्टर्स, राइट, for the ongoing of trial, during for the pendency of trial. So ये जब तक डिसाइड नहीं होता तब तक क्या होता है कि पर्सन इज अंडर ट्रायल, पर्सन इज कंसिडर्ड अंडर ट्रायल, और उसको कहाँ पे रहना पड़ता है, उसको जेल में रहना पड़ता है. ठीक है, अगर कोई बेलेबल ऑफेंस है तो उसको बेल मिल जाती है while the trial process is undergoing. बट अगर कोई नॉन बेलेबल ऑफेंस है तो नो बेल इन द नॉन बेलेबल ऑफेंस. ठीक है, तो ये दो जो केसेस हैं, ये दो जो प्रोविजंस हैं 509 398, दीज आर नॉन बेलेबल ऑफेंसेस. तो इन केसेस में क्या होता है, इन प्रोविजंस में नॉन बेलेबल, the person cannot get bail, person cannot come out on bail, right? तो अंडर ट्रायल, तो इंडिया में अकॉर्डिंग टू द 78th लॉ कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया रिपोर्ट, लॉ कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया report, 78th report में it has been stated that it includes a person who is in judicial custody or remand during investigation in the definition of under trial, and around 76 2020 में 2020 का डेटा है, अबाउट 76% ऑफ ऑल इनमेट्स, 76% ऑफ ऑल प्रिजन इनमेट्स इन द कंट्री आर अंडर ट्रायल्स. ठीक है, तो आपको जितने भी लोग जेल में मिलेंगे, राइट, प्रिजन इनमेट्स, 76% ऑफ दोज पीपल, द पॉपुलेशन इज एक्चुअली अंडर ट्रायल पॉपुलेशन. तो यानी कॉन्विक्ट्स कम है, अंडर ट्रायल ज्यादा है, right? Because there is so much of pendency, there is so much of backlog of cases in all the courts of laws in India, be it a district court, be it a high court or a supreme court, right? And NCRB का data भी यही बोलता है कि over the last 10 years the number of under trials in jails have risen constantly and peaked in 2021, right? So this is one. और उसके लिए क्या है, now we also have article 39A, article 39A है, which is DPSP, which talks about right to speedy justice, right to speedy trial. इसका एक बहुत फेमस केस है, हुसैन आरा खातून खान versus state of Bihar. This is a 1979 judgment and this was also through a PIL. इसमें भी, इस पर्टिकुलर केस में भी फाइल करी गई थी कि राइट टू स्पीडी ट्रायल, राइट टू स्पीडी जस्टिस, बिकॉज जस्टिस डिलेड मीन्स जस्टिस डिनाइड. दैट्स व्हाई दिस पर्टिकुलर PIL वाज फाइल्ड. अंडर ट्रायल प्रिजनर्स, कई बार ऐसा होता है कि अंडर ट्रायल प्रिजनर्स 10-10 20-20 साल काट लेते हैं जेल में, और फिर जब वो उनका ट्रायल आता है तो उसमें निकलता है कि अच्छा द पर्सन वाज नॉट गिल्टी, तो आपके 20 साल वेस्ट हो गए, लाइफ के 20 साल उस पर्सन के चले गए. दैट्स एक्चुअली अ बैड थिंग, बिकॉज हमारा क्रिमिनल जस्टिस सिस्टम सपोर्ट करता है कि इफ अ पर्सन इज इनोसेंट, even if there are 100 criminals or gangsters roaming around, but even no one innocent person should be inside the jail. innocent को जेल में नहीं रखना है, but the only the criminal should be in jail. So the criminality has to be proved beyond reasonable doubt. Criminality, according to our criminal justice system, has to be proved beyond reasonable doubt. ठीक है, तो आई होप दिस इज क्लियर, बिकॉज ये एक अंडर ट्रायल्स का आइडिया है, राइट टू फ्री लीगल एड, राइट टू फ्री लीगल सर्विस, स्पीडी ट्रायल अंडर दिस पर्टिकुलर जजमेंट एंड अंडर आर्टिकल 39A. और उससे पहले जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल फ्रेमवर्क है, आर्टिकल 21 तो बात करता है राइट टू लाइफ एंड लिबर्टी. ठीक है, तो इसमें लिबर्टी भी कर्टेल हो रही है किसी तरीके से ऐसे लोगों की जो कि अंडर ट्रायल प्रिजनर्स हैं एंड जिनका ट्रायल अभी तक पेंडिंग है. So again, you can see that there are a lot of aspects to it. So I wanted you all to understand the difference between the under trial prisoners and the convicts. ठीक है, इसमें difference होते हैं. All right. Then coming on to the next news item, which is terror funding case. NIA seeks death penalty for Yasin Malik. तो इस particular case में, इस particular news item में terror financing NIA और UAPA की बात करी गई है. So let's talk about UAPA. UAPA stands for Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. Right, and to understand terror financing. Terror financing is something that involves providing finance or financial support to individual terrorists or non-state actors. Terrorists without funding cannot purchase weapons, equipment, supplies, or services. The source of terrorist funds may be illicit or the sources of terrorist funds may be legitimate or illegitimate. That is not the concern. If there is a terror financing happening, then any person, any organization which is financing either directly or indirectly will be liable. इनफैक्ट कई जगह ऐसा भी देखा गया है, सेवरल एनजीओज, कई बार ऐसा देखा गया है कि एनजीओज, नॉन गवर्नमेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस, ठीक है, वो लोग दे आर ऑन द फेस वैल्यू दे आर शोइंग कि हाँ दे आर वर्किंग फॉर ह्यूमन राइट्स एंड दे आर वर्किंग फॉर justice, access to justice, but in the hindsight they are actually financing terrorism. Now, so several NGOs have been banned globally, several non-government organizations, because of the reason that there were reports that they were supporting terror financing. Okay, so the source of terrorism, okay, and it is done through criminal activities including drugs, arms trafficking, extortion, kidnapping, or arson. Terror financing not only threatens the internal security but can also undermine economic development and financial market stability. It is therefore of paramount importance to stem the flow of funds to terrorists, as curbing and disrupting the flow of funds to terrorist outfits, and it is one of the best ways to fight terrorism. तो terrorism को fight करने का सबसे अच्छा तरीका है to completely curb terror financing. Terror financing को पूरी तरह रोक देना, पूरी तरह prevent कर देना. This is the best way, क्योंकि अगर आप financing को ही रोक दोगे तो जो terrorist हैं वो लोग weapons नहीं purchase कर पाएंगे. उनका livelihood, उन terrorist का livelihood terror financing पे ही निर्भर है, right? So again, so global terrorism has to be stopped by preventing any kind of or curbing terror financing, and to combat money laundering, terror financing, and uske liye, we have the FATF. FATF stands for Financial Action Task Force, and these are the financial intelligence units, right? तो ये FATF basically ऐसे countries को, it has certain list, black list, grey list, brown list. तो जो countries होती हैं जिनके जहाँ पे proven evidence है, records हैं उन countries के लोगों के लिए कि they support terrorists or they finance terrorism, so those countries are generally put in the category of either grey list or brown list, and the countries who are completely banned, like countries like North Korea and Sudan, they are in the blacklist. They have completely been blacklisted, and Pakistan was in the grey list for 2 years before FATF released it ठीक है. So now Pakistan is not there, but it was there in FATF's grey list for 2 years. All right. And NIA क्या है? What is NIA? NIA stands for National Investigation Agency. It's a central counter-terrorism law enforcement agency of India, and it is mandated to investigate all the offences affecting the sovereignty, security, integrity of India. Right. And it includes friendly relations with foreign states against atomic and nuclear facilities, smuggling of arms, drugs and fake Indian currencies. So NIA किन किन चीजों पे कौन से cases को deal करता है? So any kind of terror group, any kind of terrorist activity, anything which is related to the internal or external security of India, and smuggling of arms smuggling, and drug trafficking, fake Indian currency यानी कि counterfeiting crimes को भी NIA देखता है, right? अभी recently NIA ने केरला में बहुत सारा counterfeiting, lot of drugs were also seized, capsized, and even a lot of counterfeiting currency have been captured by the NIA, right? And whatever are the offenses, criminal offenses under the Indian statutory laws and the international conventions are also covered by NIA. Okay, this was NIA Act hai. So NIA was established in 2008 by the NIA Act of 2008, National Investigation Agency Act है 2008 का, ठीक है. एंड ये किस एजेंसी, किस मिनिस्ट्री के अंडर आती है? सो इट कम्स अंडर द मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ होम अफेयर्स, MHA, ठीक है. एंड हेडक्वार्टर्स कहाँ हैं इसके? हेडक्वार्टर्स इन न्यू दिल्ली. ऑलराइट. एंड ये 2008 में क्यों फॉर्म हुए थे? NIA was formed in 2008 after the 26/11 attack, 26/11 मुंबई टेरर अटैक. ये मुंबई टेरर अटैक के बाद NIA को फॉर्म किया गया, बिकॉज एट दैट टाइम इट वाज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. मतलब बहुत ही द इंटायर कंट्री वाज शेकन अप. एंड उससे पहले 2001 में भी पार्लियामेंट अटैक हुआ था. एंड बीच में देयर हैव बीन सेवरल अटैक्स. इंडिया में बहुत सारा ये मतलब लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स हैव हैपेंड when it comes to terrorist activities. So that's why in 2008 जब मामला एकदम पीक पे पहुंच गया, तो 26/11 अटैक के बाद तब NIA को establish करना ही पड़ा. And it was important at that time to establish an organization which can look into terrorist activities, right? And till date the NIA has registered around 447 cases, right? Okay. So NIA में the schedule of the act specifies a list of offences which are to be investigated and prosecuted by NIA. So कई सारे NIA के अंडर कई सारे laws आते हैं. उनमें से एक है UAPA. UAPA stands for Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. Then it also covers anti-hijacking law, कि अगर planes hijack होते हैं तो उसका भी जो anti-hijacking act. Then you have suppression of unlawful acts against safety of civil aviation act. Then you also have explosive substances act, atomic energy act, right? Weapons of mass destruction act, right? Narcotics, so NDPS, narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances act. ये सारी चीजें NIA के under NIA के jurisdiction में आती हैं. These are all subject matters on which NIA can act. National Investigation Agency can function. All right. Okay. Now we'll look into. All right. Then moving on to another news item: sedition and its roots in rudeness as an offense. Now you can go ahead and read the news item. But what we need to understand is the sedition law in India. So sedition law है section 124A. IPC का जो है section 124A, it covers sedition law in India, ठीक है. So the government has sought more time now. अभी क्या हो रहा है इसमें? There are certain, let's understand what is सेडिशन लॉ. तो सेडिशन लॉ दिस वाज इनैक्टेड. देखो आईपीसी कब आया था? आईपीसी केम टू अस इन 1860. ठीक है, इट इज एन 1860 लॉ, यानी कि इट इज अ colonial टाइम legislation, right? 17th century England. This was sedition laws were enacted in 17th century England when lawmakers believed that only good opinions of the government should survive, right? And bad opinions were detrimental to the society and to the government and monarchy. तो ये इंग्लैंड का लॉ है उस टाइम पे 17th सेंचुरी में, जब monarchy को they had to protect the monarchy and protect the government. That's why they had brought in the sedition law. And the law was originally drafted in 1837 by Lord Macaulay and the British historian politician, and it was inexplicably omitted when IPC was enacted in 1860. But yes, 1870 May it was reinserted. So section 124A was added in IPC in 1870, again by the Britishers and by Sir Stephen. And it felt, because उस time पे 1870 में, see 1857 में हमारा फर्स्ट रिवोल्ट हुआ था इंडिपेंडेंस का, फर्स्ट वॉर ऑफ, यू कैन से फर्स्ट रिवोल्ट ऑफ इंडिपेंडेंस. ठीक है, 1857 में हुआ था. अराउंड 1860 में जब ब्रिटिश राज आ गया था, जब एवरीथिंग ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी से हटके देयर वाज ट्रांजिशन, ब्रिटिश राज में चला गया था. उसके बाद 1870 में दिस लॉ वाज अगेन एडेड टू द आईपीसी एंड right. So today also sedition is a crime under section 124A of IPC, and it defines sedition as an offense committed when any person by words, either spoken or written, or by signs or by visible representation, or otherwise brings or attempts to bring into hatred or contempt, or excites or attempts to excite disaffection towards the government established by law in India. Disaffection includes disloyalty and all feelings of enmity. However, comments without exciting or attempting to excite hatred or contempt or disaffection will not constitute an offense under this section. Now, जो sedition law है, it's basically, it revolves around showing any kind of disaffection towards the government of India. और जो critical है, जो generally बहुत अभी बोला गया है कि there is a term which is stated in the sedition law which states government of India. ठीक है, now government of India basically means what? Executive. तो इसको what is the reforms that has been proposed for the sedition law is that, first of all, it should be abolished. Either you abolish the sedition law, because sedition, it is violation of freedom of speech and expression under article 19(1)(a) of the constitution, violation of freedom of speech and expression. And in fact freedom of speech and expression का एक article 19 clause 2 में एक exception भी है, that if it is a sedition then it will be an exception, a reasonable restriction to the fundamental right of freedom of speech and expression. But what people have been proposing, what the different researchers have been proposing, कि जो term है government of India, इसको remove करके the word union of India कर देना चाहिए, the word union of India, or in fact towards the nation, या तो union of India या nation, ऐसा कुछ word कर देना चाहिए जो कि something that is reflecting the entire country. So आप कंट्री के अगेंस्ट अगर कुछ कोई डिसअफेक्शन शो करता है या डिसलॉयल्टी, then that should be curtailed and that should be curbed as a sedition law, right? But against the government of India, people have a right to speak, people have the right to criticize the government, right? So that should not be curtailed. Okay, so central government is actually looking into it. So central government ने बोला है कि अब now the central government is going to reform the sedition law in India. Right, the government has sought more time to submit its written response to petitions challenging the constitutional validity. तो अभी क्या है कि कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में, सॉरी, सुप्रीम कोर्ट में सेक्शन 124 की कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल वैलिडिटी पे सवाल उठाए गए हैं. व्हाट इज द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल वैलिडिटी ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर सेक्शन? ओके, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल वैलिडिटी क्या है, whether it is in compliance of the constitutional provisions or not. Right? Okay. And what is the punishment for sedition? Sedition में punishment है imprisonment up to 3 years to a life term. 3 साल से लेके life imprisonment तक. मतलब it will depend on obviously from different case to case. जो भी facts होंगे केस पे, तो उन facts के आधार पे जो भी कोर्ट होगा, the judicial court will decide the quantum of punishment. Okay, as per the facts of the case. The quantum of punishment will be decided upon the facts of the case, but the minimum punishment is 3 years of jail, 3 years of imprisonment with fine. And a person charged with under this law is barred from a government job. अगर कोई person एक बार jail चला गया under sedition, तो that person is barred from government job. Okay. All right, so there are of course a lot of criticisms and all recent developments also, right? And all right, so now let's just move on to another news item since we are running out of time. Okay, so the next news item is a fountainhead of the people's hopes and aspirations. In the 75th year of independence, India is set to witness a historic moment with the inauguration of new parliament building. And after using a parliament building that is nearly a century old and symbolized as colonial era, so we were actually gifted the parliament building by the Britishers, and it has been used for over a year. तो ये जो parliament building जो हमारी पुरानी parliament building थी वो 1870 around 1870 में बनी थी. In fact, हाँ, somewhere around that. And now of course it has been if I'm not wrong, 1817 to 1900 something, 1927. Yeah, it was in 1927. Yes, I stand corrected. It was inaugurated. The old Parliament House was inaugurated in 1927. Consisted of circular shaped structure, which is visible from the outside. 2 more floors were added to this building in 1956 to accommodate more staff and other offices. तो क्या था कि जब हमको independence मिली थी उस time पे, of course the number of MPs in the parliament were less as far as Rajya Sabha or Lok Sabha were concerned. But later the number of MPs also increased, and today we have 545 MPs in Lok Sabha, right? And 255 in Rajya Sabha. ठीक है, so हम लोगों को अभी क्या है कि we need to be equipped for the needs of today. The new building is more spacious, energy efficient, accessible. It is it has more updated technology. And yes, I also wanted to tell, just this is also a news that rupees 75 rupees coin is being introduced by the government of India. Now it is being introduced, and to commemorate the 75th year of independence. Okay, acha. 75 rupee coin to be introduced by the Union of India. The front of the coin will feature lion, capital of the Ashoka pillar with Satyamev Jayate written below. Right, so we'll read the different features of the 75 rupee coin later. But what we need to understand from this the news item is people's hopes and aspirations. तो आपको ये समझना जरूरी है that the basis of our Indian Constitution is the will and aspirations of the people of India. जब आप preamble को पढ़ोगे, preamble में the first word is we the people of India. So it is very important. This is the first thing that is given in the preamble or enshrined in the preamble itself, right? The term preamble is what? It basically acts as a preface to the constitution. It is also an interpretative tool which is used by the judiciary, right? So preamble is something that summarizes, you can say it summarizes the constitution, or because it has the key aspects of the constitution. तो पहली चीज जो हमारा preamble बताता है that it is we the people of India who are giving unto ourselves this constitution. हम लोग we are actually giving this constitution to ourselves, right? एंड उसमें क्या है, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन क्या, सेकेंड चीज क्या है, पहली चीज तो ये है कि बेसिस ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इज विल एंड एस्पिरेशंस ऑफ द पीपल ऑफ इंडिया. सेकेंड इज द नेचर ऑफ द इंडियन स्टेट, नेचर ऑफ द इंडियन स्टेट. नेचर क्या है, द इंडियन स्टेट इज अ सॉवरन, it is a republic, it is a democratic, and it is a socialist secular. And yes, there is no comma in between because it has to be read in tandem. It, all of these five different natures of the Indian state have to be read together. That is why no comma has been added in between these terms, okay, in the preamble. Please go and read the preamble. And being a law student, preamble is something that you should remember. The third thing, the third point that has been added in the preamble is the objective of the constitution, the objectives of the constitution of India, the different objectives and goals and objectives of the constitution, यानी कि justice, liberty and fraternity. Justice कौन सी, social, political and economical justice. And then liberty of thought, freedom, expression, so on and so forth. Then fraternity, ठीक है, fraternity, common brotherhood, the right. And it also talks about integrity. The word integrity was also added later, right? And then the fourth point that preamble talks about is the date of enactment. Date of enactment क्या है, date of enactment is 26th November 1949, which is also the 26/11, and this is also known as the Constitutional Law Day. And what is the second thing which talks about is the date of enforcement. This is 26th Jan 1950, right? 2601. This is known as the Republic Day. This is celebrated as the Republic Day. इस दिन हमारा constitution force में आ गया था, right? It was enforced from 26th January 1950 onwards. All right, so I hope this is clear. You can give it a read, give this new article a read. It talks about, basically it compares the old parliament building with the new parliament building. There were challenges in the old parliament building. Building space crunch था because इतनी पुरानी building हो गई थी, वायरिंग के issues थे, ठीक है, शॉर्ट सर्किटिंग होने के चांसेस बहुत ज्यादा थे बिकॉज आप पुरानी बिल्डिंग हो जाती है तो बहुत सारा मेंटेनेंस की जरूरत पड़ती है. एंड बिकॉज उसका स्ट्रक्चर ऐसा बना था कि उसको आप बिना पूरी बिल्डिंग को कि आप maintenance नहीं, it was not that possible. So there were a lot of technical problems with the old parliament building, space crunch and so on and so forth. So now the new parliament building, this is more spacious, it is more energy efficient, so energy consumption because new technology is being used, it is more accessible, it has updated technology, well equipped for future needs, and it is laying the foundation of new parliament building. So right. And it also has an e-library and important reports, right? So you can read about it on the internet. I'll also share it in the report, in the draft that I am preparing. Okay. Acha. So we'll move on to the next news item. The next news item talks about Sengol. Again, Sengol has been quite in news. The parliament, so the government has decided that the Sengol, which we have actually discussed earlier, this will be established in the new parliament building, right? And near the seat of Lok Sabha speaker. So it will be established near the seat of the Lok Sabha speaker, right? All right. So the historical significance, Sengol has a profound meaning in Tamil. Basically it means righteousness. Sengol ka jo meaning hai, it is derived from the word semmai. This means righteousness. And it was made of gold and silver, and was often decorated with precious stones. So this is a complete, it is made completely with silver and coated with gold. And this was carried by emperors. This is the historical part, and it was associated with the Chola Empire, the Chola dynasty, right? And all right. And before independence from the British rule, the Viceroy, Lord Mountbatten. So Lord Mountbatten was our old, the last Viceroy of India, Mountbatten, last Viceroy of India, right? And he had actually basically he had posed a question to Jawaharlal Nehru regarding, if there is a certain ceremony to which can, which is symbolic of transfer of power, symbolic of transfer of power. And then at that time, Sengol came into picture. So Sengol has been there in our Indian this thing, uh, right? The golden scepter was crafted by V.B. Chetty, a famous jeweler in Madras. The Nandi and its unyielding gaze as the beholder of Nyaya. So the concept of Nandi is basically referred to as the beholder of Nyaya. Nyaya, or the law. It's to enforce and behold the law, and is handcrafted at the top. And of course, the picture of Lakshmi Lakshmi Ma is also there to prosperity. For prosperity, it basically reflects prosperity of the country and of the people. Okay, so you can give it a read. These are all GK related concepts. Acha, then we'll move on to Delhi court allows Rahul Gandhi's plea for NOC for passport. So here we will be talking about the different types of passports that are there in India and dual citizenship. ठीक है, तो इंडिया में 4 तरह के passports होते हैं, right? Okay, so I'll tell you about this. अच्छा, there are, when we talk about different types of passport, the first is we'll talk from the point of view of color. ठीक है, ब्लू पासपोर्ट. जब हम ब्लू पासपोर्ट की बात करते हैं, दिस इज द ऑर्डिनरी पासपोर्ट. ठीक है, every Indian citizen who has applied for the passport and has received a passport has a blue passport, ठीक है, which is dark blue in color. You must have seen. So the common man of India is issued the blue colored passport. This helps the custom, immigration officials and other authorities abroad distinguish between the common man and government officials of India holding high ranks. Second is the white passport. White passport क्या है? Of the different types of passport, the white passport is the most powerful one. Government officials are eligible recipients of white passports. It is issued to persons traveling abroad for official work. White passport abroad, it makes it easy for the custom and immigration officials to identify the holder as government official and is given due treatment. So most passport, so ye generally, political authorities, politicians, and maybe basically MPs, member of parliaments of the basically members of parliament, and the people holding constitutional post, जिनके पास भी constitutional posts हैं, ठीक है, anyone who is holding a constitutional post is given a white passport. ठीक है, third is you have the maroon or red passport. So it is red in color. It is generally stated maroon. ठीक है, तो maroon ये मिलता है किसको? Diplomats को, because it is a diplomatic passport. This is a diplomatic passport. It is given to diplomats. Diplomats are IFS officers, Indian Foreign Services officers, diplomats. Okay. And the fourth is, so a maroon passport is issued to Indian diplomats and senior government officials. For high quality passport, a separate application has to be filed. Such passport holders become eligible for several benefits during foreign tours. In addition, they do not need a visa. So in passports pe, basically maroon and red passport pe visa, white and red passport में visa की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती है. For blue passport, of course, you need a visa on a visa, right? And now the fourth is the orange passport. This is in streamline, so this is in the pipeline actually. Just write it here, in the pipeline. ठीक है. अच्छा, orange passport. Now Passport Authority of India, the Indian government has announced its decision to introduce orange passport for a majority section of the population. It is meant to identify a person that has not studied beyond class 10, unlike the regular passport. So agar for uh, you'll see students or children who have not studied, so class 10 and below, ठीक है, उनके लिए अभी ऑरेंज पासपोर्ट इंट्रोड्यूस करेगी गवर्नमेंट ने अभी करा नहीं है. दिस इज इन द पाइपलाइन, right? Unlike the regular passport, the orange passport won't have the last page which mentions father's name of the holder, permanent address, and other critical details. People who are not educationally qualified fall under the ECR, immigration check required category. It means that every time a person in this category wants to fly abroad, he or she is required to clear the criteria laid down by the immigration officials. Okay. So when orange passport will be released, we'll talk about the details of the orange passport. But yes, now we need to talk about what is dual citizenship. So citizenship जो इंडिया में है, अगर हम इंडिया के citizenship की बात करें, sorry just a second, citizenship in India. First of all, India constitution is one of the, it's exceptional in the when it refers to citizenship, because India के constitution में ही, part 2 of the constitution, that is article 11 to article 5, part 2 जो है इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का, it refers to citizenship. और वो क्यों है? बिकॉज जब इंडिया का पार्टीशन हुआ था, राइट, उस समय ये डिटर्मिन करने के लिए कि कौन से ऐसे लोग हैं जो कि इंडियन सिटीजन हैं और कौन से हैं जो नहीं है, उस चीज को डिटर्मिन करने के लिए आर्टिकल 5 to 11 वर एडेड इन द इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, राइट? So 5 to 10 have become redundant. They have become redundant now because these articles were related to people who were living at that time. So most of the people are dead. Most of the people are no more there, no more in existence rather. And but article 11 is an article which gives power to the parliament to enact law related to citizenship. ठीक है, तो हमारे पास पार्लियामेंट ने फिर 1955 में सिटीजनशिप एक्ट को इनैक्ट किया था 1955 में, और इस एक्ट में कई बार अमेंडमेंट्स हो चुके हैं. द लेटेस्ट अमेंडमेंट वाज इन 2019. ठीक है, so we'll not go into that, but we need to understand what is dual citizenship. Dual citizen status is a wide recognition in this so dual citizen status is a legal recognition in which an individual is considered a citizen of more than one country. So dual citizenship, so there are certain countries that allow citizenship, dual citizenship, उनके passports allow करते हैं, but ठीक है कि citizenship, they can acquire citizenship in more than one country. ठीक है, इंडिया डज नॉट परमिट डुअल सिटीजनशिप. तो इंडिया परमिट नहीं करता है, इंडियन पासपोर्ट डुअल सिटीजनशिप को अलाउ नहीं करता है. दिस इज वेरी क्लियर. अगर कोई अगर पर्सन है जिसने किसी और कंट्री में सिटीजनशिप ले ली है, तो फिर उसको इंडियन सिटीजनशिप रिनाउंस करनी पड़ती है. इंडियन सिटीजनशिप इज ऑटोमेटिकली देन रिवोक्ड. इट इज रिवोक्ड. ठीक है, इंडियन कोई भी सिटीजनशिप इंडिया की अगर होल्ड कर रहा है तो ही कैन नॉट होल्ड एनी अदर सिटीजनशिप. Similarly, if he is already having the citizenship of any other country, that person will not be given citizenship of India. So I hope this is clear. इसमें यहाँ पे लिखा है द Delhi High Court on Friday allowed plea by the Congress leader Rahul Gandhi seeking issuance of fresh passport. So because he was an MP, he earlier had white passport. Now, of course, when he was he's no more a member of parliament, so wanted he is asking for issuance of an ordinary passport for 3 years. तो उसके लिए उनको NOC चाहिए था, no objection certificate. और no objection certificate क्यों चाहिए था? Because his case is going on in the this National Herald case is going on where uh, he's the defendant in this particular case. तो he is the person who is one of the accused party in the National Herald case. तो उस case में क्या हुआ कि Subramaniam Swamy, Mr. Swamy was asked. The plea by Mr. Gandhi for issuance of fresh passports was opposed by BJP leader Subramaniam Swamy, who was the complainant. तो इसमें क्या होता है कि अगर आपका केस ऑलरेडी पेंडिंग है तो आप उस रीजन को generally, this is what, if your case is pending in the Supreme Court, then you are not allowed to leave the country, right? And so this plea for Rahul Gandhi's plea was actually objected by Mr. Subramaniam Swamy, who's the complainant in the National Herald case. But then, even though the Delhi High Court has given citizenship, in his written submission in the court, Mr. Swamy said that during his recent visit to the UK, he was told by an official that Mr. Gandhi has declared himself as British citizen. ठीक है? He said Mr. Gandhi's Indian citizenship should be cancelled, as under the Indian law there was no scope for dual citizenship. तो अभी क्या है, कुछ reports आई हैं, and there have been certain this thing that एक ऑफिशियल ने ये चीज बताई है कि मिस्टर गांधी हैज टेकन अ ब्रिटिश सिटीजनशिप. तो अगर वहां पे सिटीजनशिप ले ली है तो अब इंडिया, ब्रिटेन अलाउज फॉर डुअल सिटीजनशिप बट इंडिया डज नॉट अलाउ फॉर डुअल सिटीजनशिप. यू विल सी पाकिस्तानी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन अलाउज फॉर डुअल सिटीजनशिप, right? But you'll see a lot of Pakistani citizens having citizenship of both Pakistan as well as UK or Pakistan or US. But Indian citizens को वो चीज allowed नहीं है. If you are a citizen of India, then you cannot be a citizen of any other country. So there is no provision in the Indian constitution for dual or multiple citizenships. Rather, an Indian can obtain a second passport from a specific country only if that person has renounced the Indian citizenship. Okay, अच्छा, ठीक है. So I hope this is clear. अच्छा, the next is European Union official seeks to allay India's concern on carbon tax. So we have talked about the carbon tax, right? So carbon tax हमने बात करी हुई है, ये previous session में we've already covered on non-green products, non-green imports पे carbon, non-green imports जो कि या तो non-green products है या फिर manufacturing products or their manufacturing, and the technology जो भी use हुई है उसमें, and the technology that has been used in manufacturing those products will be also looked into if it is green or non-green. तो जो non-green products होंगे या manufacturing या technology वाले, तो उन पे carbon tax levy करेगा European Union. Okay, this is the new carbon tax law by European Union. Okay, now for you, and we have also actually covered the carbon border adjustment mechanism, right? So the news item is saying that it is not intended to be a protectionist regime but only meant to avoid any problems of carbon leakage, right? What you need to see here is conference of parties scheduled in 28th COP. Conference of parties is scheduled in Delhi. Sorry, in Dubai. So the 28th conference of parties is scheduled in Dubai, and उससे पहले now you will also need to look into COP 29 कहाँ पे होने वाला है. COP 29 because see November 2023 में दुबई में हो जाएगा, but आपका एग्जाम कब है? Your exam is in December. ठीक है, तो उसमें 29th का भी पूछ सकते हैं because तब तक 29th कहाँ पे हो रहा है ये चीज पता लग जाएगी. And where was COP 27 held? Where was COP 26 held? ठीक है, COP 27 was ये 2022 में हुआ था in Egypt, and COP 26 was in 2021 in Glasgow, UK. All right. Okay, so you need to remember those things for your environment. और इसकी जो मेन बॉडी है, स्कॉप कौन, कॉन्फ्रेंस ऑफ पार्टीज कौन कंडक्ट कराता है? यूनाइटेड नेशंस फ्रेमवर्क फॉर क्लाइमेट चेंज कॉन्फ्रेंस. ओके, यूनाइटेड नेशंस फ्रेमवर्क कॉन्फ्रेंस फॉर क्लाइमेट चेंज. ठीक है, सो दिस इज द मेन बॉडी that conducts a conference of parties, and it meets every year. First COP कहाँ हुआ था? First COP, this was conducted in 1995 in Berlin, Germany. अच्छा, and UNFCCC के हेडक्वार्टर कहाँ है? This is in Bonn, Germany. बॉन जर्मनी में सेक्रेटेरिएट है यूएनएफसीसीसी का, जहां से फंक्शन करता है. ठीक है, वेयर दिस फंक्शंस. ओके, so I hope this is clear. From your exam point of view, you need to remember these particular details. Acha, next is Indus Water Treaty. So this is related to the Indus Water Treaty. India has issued notice to Pakistan seeking review and modification of Indus Water Treaty. Now, we need to understand what is Indus Water Treaty. So, India and Pakistan signed Indus Water Treaty in 1960 में sign हुई थी Indus Water Treaty between India and Pakistan. ठीक है, after 9 years of negotiation with World Bank, और इसमें who was the organization that was holding these negotiations was World Bank. Okay. Now, being a signatory to the pact, the treaty sets out a mechanism for cooperation and information exchange between the two sides on the use of, basically it's basically on the basis of, on the use of water of the Indus River. Indus River and its 5 tributaries. कौन सी 5 tributaries? सतलज, ब्यास, रवि, झेलम and चेनाब. ठीक है, okay. So this is related to water sharing. This is a water sharing agreement between two countries. Water sharing agreement. Okay. Now, the treaty prescribed how water from the 6 rivers of the Indus River system would be shared between India and Pakistan. It allocated the 3 western rivers, Indus, Chenab and Jhelum, to Pakistan for unrestricted use, barring certain non-consumptive agricultural and domestic uses by India, and 3 eastern rivers, Ravi, Bias, Satluj, were allocated to India for unrestricted usage. तो छह नदियां थी, उनमें से 3 नदियां पाकिस्तान को दे दी गई फॉर अनरिस्ट्रिक्टेड यूज एंड 3 नदियां दे दी गई इंडिया को फॉर अनरिस्ट्रिक्टेड यूज. और जो 3 नदी पाकिस्तान को दी थी, उनमें से कुछ एक्टिविटीज जैसे कि डोमेस्टिक यूसेज, एग्रीकल्चर यूसेज, इरिगेशन के लिए इंडिया उन नदियों से भी पानी ले सकता था. सो दिस इज द, सो इसमें क्या हुआ कि 80% इसका जो शेयर था, दिस वाज 80% was given to Pakistan and 20% to India. ठीक है, इंडिया के पास पूरी ये 6 नदियों में, you can say it only has 20% of the entire Indus River system, whereas Pakistan holds 80% of the entire water. And so उसके ऊपर rights हमेशा, this has been a long going tussle, right? Pakistan has the rights of these waters of Jhelum, Chenab and Indus, right? And it allows India only certain uses, but it also allows India to build run of river hydropower projects. तो जो इसके जो agreement है, ये Indus Water Treaty का जो ये agreement है, इसमें कुछ annexures हैं, annexures attached हैं, जो कि इंडिया को उस under one of these annexures India can build hydropower projects. तो इंडिया ने हाइड्रो पावर प्रोजेक्ट बना रखा है, राइट? run of the river hydropower project, meaning projects not requiring live storage of water. तो ये hydropower project ऐसे हैं, they do not require live storage of water. They are only for generating electricity. ठीक है, they do not require storage of water. ठीक है, they are run of the river. तो इसको इन hydropower projects को कहते हैं run of the river hydropower projects, because they are run on they are based on or established on the running of the river. ठीक है, तो for generating electricity. All right, so therefore there has been a lot of tussle between both India and Pakistan abhi now, of course, Pakistan is also challenging India in the International Court of Arbitration regarding this, for building the hydropower project, right? And now, of course, the center has advised Jammu and Kashmir to scale up efforts for better utilization. The union government instructed officials in Jammu and Kashmir to scale up efforts for better utilization of country's rights under the Indus Water Treaty over the three rivers flowing through the union territory. And the Deputy National Security Advisor, so please know this, ठीक है, Deputy National Security Advisor कौन है? That is his name is Sari Vikram Misri. Sari Vikram Misri. Okay. He is the Deputy National Security Advisor. He chaired the second meeting of the Special Task Force in Srinagar to ensure exercise of India's right to under the IWT. The meeting took stock of the progress made on various hydropower projects in J&K. It was noted that progress has been made on several fronts and emphasis was laid on completing the works on all the Indus Basin projects in timely manner. Okay, so this is basically the whole issue. All right, so you need to understand the Indus Water Treaty exactly क्या है, what is the share, कब ये साइन हुई थी. दिस इज इम्पोर्टेंट फ्रॉम योर हिस्टोरिकल पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू. एंड इसको ये जो इंडस वाटर ट्रीटी है, इसमें कौन एक्टिव है, कौन सी मिनिस्ट्रीज एक्टिव हैं? मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ फॉरेन अफेयर्स, so Ministry of External Affairs, MEA, of course, because it is an international agreement. Then right, and Ministry of Jal Shakti. Ministry of Jal Shakti is also an important agency. तो ये दो ministries हैं जो कि इस particular issue को अभी conduct कर रही हैं, deal कर रही हैं इस issue से. All right. अच्छा, the next is very important. Navy ISRO released training plan for Gaganyaan crew. The human space flight is scheduled to be launched in the fourth quarter of 2024. Right, so India will also be sending astronauts into space. Such a good news. I mean, it is a proud moment. It will be a proud moment for all the Indians when we'll see astronauts, Indian astronauts going into the space. Okay, acha. The astronaut designates for the mission are currently undergoing their mission-specific training at Bangalore. And the important step towards realizing India's ambitious Gaganyaan mission to put an Indian in space, the Indian Navy and Indian ISRO. तो ये जो है ना, ये the training is being conducted by Navy and ISRO together. ठीक है, जो भी crew है उनकी training, and Navy and ISRO released a Gaganyaan recovery training plan at the Water Survival Training Facility WSTF at INS Garud, Kochi. Okay, ये सारे details important हैं. Please make a note of it. The human flight after the 2 unmanned flights is scheduled to be launched in the fourth quarter of 2024. Document outlines the training plan for recovery of the crew module of the mission. It defines overall requirements with respect to training of various teams participating in recovery operations, including divers, MARCOs, which are marine commandos, divers, medical specialists, communicators, technicians, naval aviators, right? And the recovery training is planned in incremental phases, starting from unmanned recovery to manned recovery training in harbor and open sea conditions, and are being led by Indian Navy in coordination with other agencies. Right, the training document was jointly released by Vice Admiral Atul Anand, Director General of Naval Operations. Okay, so and all right, so you can give it a read. This is important from your, again, GK point of view, right? Very important news. All right. Acha, then we'll move on to the next news item. The next news item is uh, regarding Union Food Ministry counters. Congress says fortified rice is safe. So uh, here you will see the बहुत सारा इसमें allegations थी fortified rice, iron fortified rice को लेके. तो अभी मिनिस्ट्री ने बोला है कि this the consumption of iron fortified rice is improved. It has been seen evidence है कि it improves hemoglobin levels in the blood. Now यहाँ पे बात हो रही है नीति आयोग की, एंड इसमें ऑल्सो दे आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द FSSAI, which is Food Safety and Standard Authority of India. So we'll talk about both these organizations. Niti Aayog basically is the, just a second, Niti Aayog is a non-statutory, non-constitutional body, right? And उससे पहले जो बॉडी थी नीति आयोग से पहले, इट वाज प्लानिंग कमीशन. ठीक है, जो हर 5 साल में इंडिया का प्लान रिवाइज करती थी. प्लानिंग कमीशन का काम यही था कि हर 5 साल में, बट उसके बाद प्लानिंग कमीशन को हटा के नीति आयोग को इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया 2014 में. एंड सिंस देन नीति आयोग हैज बीन द मेन सी द बॉडी which conducts prepares reports on various issues and releases it every year. तो अब annual basis पे reports prepare करता है नीति आयोग on every issue, various issues. And the main idea is नीति आयोग को क्यों लाया गया, बिकॉज जब पहले क्या होता था, मिनिस्ट्रीज कोई भी डेवलपमेंट होना है, लेट्स से किसी एक रीजन में डेवलपमेंट होना है, तो वहाँ की स्टेट मिनिस्ट्री अलग से उसमें काम कर रही होती थी, सेंट्रल मिनिस्ट्री अलग से, और उस पर्टिकुलर डिपार्टमेंट में कई सारे लेट्स से मिनिस्ट्रीज उस पर्टिकुलर इशू में डील कर रही होती थी. तो उतना लेबर, उतने रिसोर्सेस स्पेंड होते थे अननेसेसरली. देयर वाज लैक ऑफ कोऑर्डिनेशन था पहले. ठीक है, लैक ऑफ कोऑर्डिनेशन बिटवीन मिनिस्ट्रीज ड्यूरिंग द प्लानिंग कमीशन फेज. ठीक है, और नीति आयोग के आने से क्या हो गया कि नाउ देयर इज कोऑर्डिनेशन अमंग्स द मिनिस्ट्रीज, अमंग्स द स्टेट गवर्नमेंट, सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट, कोऑर्डिनेशन है. दे वर्क इन टैंडम. सेवरल मिनिस्ट्रीज, अगर एग्रीकल्चर है तो उसमें मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ जल शक्ति, ठीक है, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर, मिनिस्ट्री, बिकॉज एग्रीकल्चर में इरिगेशन की भी रिक्वायरमेंट होती है. तो ऐसे करके कोई भी इशू होता है ना, तो उसमें जो भी रिक्वायर्ड एजेंसीज है वो साथ में मिलके, बोथ सेंट्रल एंड स्टेट साथ में मिलके काम करते हैं. एंड बेसिकली इट प्रमोट्स कोऑपरेटिव फेडरलिज्म. ठीक है, promotes cooperative federalism. And Niti Aayog has basically brought in a lot of changes, and it came into effect from Jan 1st 2015 से ये स्टार्ट हुआ है. ठीक है, एंड Niti Aayog also follows a bottom up approach. ठीक है, तो नीचे से काम शुरू होगा इंस्टेड ऑफ upwards to, like, basically bottom up approach, right? It echoes the spirit of cooperative federalism. The chairperson of Niti Aayog is the Prime Minister. The chairperson is Prime Minister of India, and vice chairperson is always appointed by the Prime Minister. So who is the vice chairperson? You can write it in the comment section below. Who is the vice chairperson of Niti Aayog? ठीक है, write it in the comment section. And governing council includes of chief ministers of all states and lieutenant governors of all union territories. रीजनल काउंसिल्स भी होते हैं नीति आयोग के, एंड it also includes ad hoc membership, right? And of course, there have been several initiatives by Niti Aayog, and Niti Aayog is basically a central, it's a think tank. It's a think tank. It is not a statutory body. It is not a constitutional body. कोई लॉ के किसी लॉ के अंडर इसको एस्टैब्लिश नहीं किया गया नीति आयोग को, बट नीति आयोग इज अ थिंक टैंक. इट इज अ रिसर्च ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, राइट? ऑलराइट. सो ऑफ कोर्स अभी जैसे बहुत सारे इश्यूज पे नीति आयोग कवर करता है, लाइक सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल का इंडेक्स रिलीज करता है, देन composite water management index, it releases the Atal innovation index and several others. ठीक है, 7 प्रोजेक्ट, हेल्थ इंडेक्स, इंडिया इनोवेशन इंडेक्स, गुड गवर्नेंस इंडेक्स, सो ऑन एंड सो फॉर्थ, ई अमृत पोर्टल. ठीक है, तो बहुत सारी चीजें हैं जो कि नीति आयोग करता है. ठीक है, एंड आई विल बी शेयरिंग द इंटायर डिटेल्स इन द कॉन्सेप्ट नोट, द नोट्स दैट आई एम प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर ऑल ऑफ यू. ओके, अब हम FSSAI की बात करते हैं. FSSAI is the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India. This is a statutory body which has been formed under the FSS Act. Just a second. FSS Act of 2006, यानी फूड सेफ्टी एंड स्टैंडर्ड्स एक्ट ऑफ 2006 के अंडर FSSAI को एस्टैब्लिश किया गया है, राइट? एंड दिस हैज बीन एस्टैब्लिश्ड बाय मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ हेल्थ एंड फैमिली. ओके, राइट. हेडक्वार्टर कहाँ है इसका? दिल्ली में. FSS Act consolidates various acts and orders that had earlier handled food related. तो इसके अंदर बहुत सारे acts आ जाते हैं. Food Products Order, Food of Prevention of Food Adulteration Act, Meat Products Act, ठीक है, Vegetable Products Act, तो milk and milk related products, तो जितने भी खाने की चीजें food related, food safety and security. Okay. So it is a regulatory body, it is a statutory regulatory body when it comes to maintaining or controlling the food standard and safety and security of food as well. Okay, it sets standard for food products, develops safe food practices, and it provides license to food businesses. Okay, test food for standards, ensure compliance through inspections, train and build capacity, citizens outreach. ये सारे functions हैं FSSAI के. ठीक है, I hope this is clear. All right, so we'll move on to the next news item. Now, the next news item is important as far as your judicial appointment in high courts is concerned. So, new Chief Justice is appointed to Madras and Bombay High Court. Now, I'm not sure if the CLAT is going to ask directly whether the Chief Justice who have been appointed, their names, but it's good if you know it. So Justice Sanjay V. Gangapurwala, who will be officiating as the Chief Justice of Bombay High Court and Chief Justice of so Justice Sanjay V. Gangapurwala will be the Chief Justice of Madras High Court, while Justice Ramesh D. Dhanuka has been appointed as the Chief Justice of Bombay High Court. ठीक है? So you can note this point. These points you can note. ठीक है? Now, what are the provisions related to judicial appointments in our Constitution? So Article 217 deals with appointment of High Court judges. Okay, it states that the judge of a high court shall be appointed by the president in consultation with the president. Judges will be appointed by the president in consultation with the Chief Justice of India and the Governor of State. Governor of State. Okay. So this is the collegium. When we talk about collegium system, so appointment high court के judges के appointment के लिए this is the collegium. So president, with Chief Justice of India and the Governor of State for for uh, for appointing Chief Justice of High Court. ठीक है, पर अगर जब हम किसी जज की बात करते हैं, हाई कोर्ट के जज की, लेट्स से हाई कोर्ट जज, तब इस कोलिजियम में चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ दैट हाई कोर्ट इज आल्सो एडेड. ओके, right? So the consultation process, in case of appointment of judges other than the chief justice, then chief justice of high court is also consulted, right? Consultation process: high court judges are recommended by a collegium comprising of chief justice of India and 2 senior most judges. All right, so collegium mein chief justice of India plus 2 senior most Supreme Court judges. When it comes to appointment of or judicial appointment in the high courts. All right, and Article 224A, again I'm reiterating, you do not need to remember the provisions of the Constitution. 224A, just for your information, ad hoc judges भी अपॉइंट किए जाते हैं हाई कोर्ट में. अच्छा, अभी रिसेंटली एक न्यूज आइटम आया था जिसमें कि एक्टिंग जजेस की बात करी गई थी, एक्टिंग जजेस इन द हाई कोर्ट. तो ये अभी तक वी डो नॉट हैव अ प्रोविजन रिलेटेड टू एक्टिंग जजेस इन द हाई कोर्ट. तो एक्टिंग जजेस कैन नॉट बी अपॉइंटेड बिकॉज देयर इज नो प्रोविजन वेर इन आवर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन रिलेटेड विद एक्टिंग जजेस. तो एक्टिंग जजेस अभी जो अपॉइंट हुए थे, दे वर क्वॉश्ड, देयर अपॉइंटमेंट्स वर क्वॉश्ड. ओके, so I hope this is clear. I'm not going into the judicial different judges cases because of paucity of time, but I'll be including that in our the concept, the notes that I'm preparing for all of you. So I'll be including that, incorporating all of that in the notes. Okay, then the next is air pollution. Darjeeling to join the list of most polluted cities in West Bengal. So इंडिया में क्या इनिशिएटिव हुआ है when it comes to air pollution? So we have the National Clean Air Campaign. Clean Air Campaign. Of course, you can refer to the Air Act. Air Act of right. So we have the Air Act. A National Clean Air Campaign was launched by the Ministry of MOEFCC, which stands for Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. This was launched in 2019. National Clean Air Campaign, and seeks to cut the concentration of coarse or particulate suspended particulate matter by less than 10 micrometers. Okay, so basically the whole idea is to reduce air pollution or curb air pollution. Okay, and who is the authority? So Central Pollution Control Board is the main authority, and State Pollution Control Board. Because स्टेट पोल्यूशन कंट्रोल बोर्ड क्यों? बिकॉज एयर हो गया, वाटर हो गया, ये सारी चीजें किस में आती हैं? स्टेट लिस्ट में आती हैं. ये सारी एंट्रीज स्टेट लिस्ट में दी हुई हैं, एंड बिकॉज दीज आर स्टेट लिस्ट मैटर्स, दैट्स व्हाई दे हैव द स्टेट इज रिस्पॉन्सिबल टू इंश्योर कि उनके स्टेट्स में जो भी पोल्यूशन लेवल है वो कम है. ये जो रिसोर्सेज है, नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज, दे कम अंडर द स्टेट purview. So these resources are well managed and safe for the citizens of the or for the residents of that particular state. Okay, so again Darjeeling is now going to join the most polluted cities of West Bengal. So this study was published by the journal Atmospheric Environment, and you can give this news item a read. Right, moving on. Now this is the last news item for today. There can be no laxity with the quality of medicine. So reforms that are needed in the pharmaceutical industry. India is the biggest pharmaceutical industry. India, when it comes to pharmaceutical sector, India is the largest pharmaceutical supplier. It is the biggest when it comes to pharmaceutical manufacturing supplier, right? The government has considered to take a fresh look at the decades-old law governing the pharmaceutical sector and issued an order to constitute a committee. So Drugs and Cosmetics Act के under the committee will be established. So we have the Drugs and Cosmetics Act. This is the pharmaceutical law. ठीक है? ये हमारा, you can say this is the pharma law in India. Now of course this law needs to be upgraded, this needs to be reformed. So reforms have been proposed, and उसी में the quality of medicines cannot be they cannot go down. So a lot of things are there, and recently we had also discussed how the laws have been this is the 1940 legislation. 1940 yani this is the pre-independence legislation. So now of course it requires various reforms up, because we also have e-farmer, right? अब हम लोग का इतना ज्यादा ऑनलाइन ऑनलाइन फार्मास्यूटिकल इतनी चीजें मिल रही हैं, उसकी वजह से ड्यूप्लीकेशन हो रहा है. देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ पेटेंट इन्फ्रिंजमेंट दैट इज हैपनिंग रिवर्स इंजीनियरिंग प्रोसेस से. ठीक है, और उसकी वजह से एक तो ये भी प्रॉब्लम हो रही है, जो जेनेरिक मेडिसिन है, जेनेरिक मेडिसिन की जगह जो फार्मास्यूटिकल जो बड़ी बड़ी कंपनीज की मेडिसिन है उनको ज्यादा प्रमोट किया जा रहा है इंस्टेड ऑफ जेनेरिक मेडिसिन. तो जो नॉर्मल पॉपुलेशन है वो सफर कर रही है. ठीक है, तो इसलिए बहुत सारे फार्मास्यूटिकल रिजीम में there are several reforms that have been proposed. ठीक है, so all of these so this particular news item also talks about these reforms. उनमें से कुछ reforms हैं ग्रीन केमिस्ट्री, यानी कि जो फार्मास्यूटिकल जो प्रोडक्ट्स बनेंगे दे शुड बी मैन्युफैक्चर्ड यूजिंग ग्रीन केमिस्ट्री, वेस्ट टू रिड्यूस वेस्ट रिडक्शन एंड एनर्जी एफिशिएंसी. enhance sectors environmental sustainability, environmentally friendly active practice. तो जो अभी तक टेस्ट होते थे on animals on various things, so that will be curbed. ठीक है, उनको अब वायलेशन, एनिमल राइट्स के वायलेशन को उसको भी वो नहीं किया जाएगा. and who is the controlling authority is the DGCI. DGCI is the Drug Controller General of India. Is the authority, right? All right, so there are various reforms that have been proposed. Some of them are these. All right, then this is it for today. So I hope you understood what I have all mentioned in the session today. If you have any doubt or any questions related to what we have covered in today's session, you can ask me in the comment section below. I'll be glad to answer them in the next session. Now, so thank you for attending, and you can join my Telegram channel using the link here, or you can scan the barcode. All right. Okay. Thank you.